Okay, since marami nag-request, here you go. Our topic for today is activity-based costing or ABC. The goal of ABC is to accurately allocate cost to the products. Okay? Sir, why is it important to know the cost of the product or the product cost? Product cost is very important because it's one of the considerations in setting the selling price. Okay? Therefore, if the cost is inaccurate, then your selling price might be too high or might be too low, which will affect the demand of the product as well as your net income. Okay, so to illustrate ABC, let's have a quick review of the types of inventory of a manufacturing entity. Okay, so we know meron siyang three types of inventory. Number one is raw materials or direct materials. Number two is work in process. Number three is finished goods. Okay, and we know WIP and FG are composed of DM or direct materials, direct labor, and overhead. Okay, so for example, we manufacture calculators. Okay, this calculator. Okay, and actually, yung sponsor ng calculator natin is Sir Bradfit. I would like to thank the sponsor of this calculator, Sir Bradfit, the #1 fitness channel in the universe, according to Sir Brad. Sir Bradfit, thank you for your endless support. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to his YouTube channel. Solid yan, close kami yan. Link in the description below. Anyway, nasa na ako? Okay, let's say we manufacture calculators. And we know yung cost nito will depend on materials, labor, and overhead. For materials and labor, wala tayong problema. We can easily compute how many materials we used for this, how many direct labor hours it took us to manufacture this. But for overhead, it's a different story because overhead applies to all products. Ano ba yung examples of overhead? Let's say utilities, salaries, what else? Let's say depreciation, and rent. Okay? So, di natin masasabi how much yung rent for this calculator. Tama ba? Because all of this apply to all the products. Okay? So, now, very important yung how to allocate overhead to the products. For direct materials and direct labor, wala tayong problema dyan. It's easy. That's why you call this direct cost. Okay? Now, we will concentrate on OH. So, that's where ABC comes into play. Let's discuss two types of overhead allocation. Number one is what we call the traditional costing. Number two is our topic for today, which is activity-based costing. For traditional costing, this uses only one or single cost driver. Sir, what is cost driver? Cost driver is anything that drives or affects the cost of the product. Usually, ang examples niyan, machine hours, direct labor hours, and so on. Later, illustrate natin siya. While activity-based costing, you first identify activities. That's why yun yung tawag sa kanya, activity-based. You identify activities and then you use multiple cost drivers. Alright? So yung main difference for traditional costing, you use only one cost driver. For activity-based costing, you use multiple cost drivers. Okay? So again, yung ABC natin, or ABC system, only applies to the allocation of overhead. For materials and labor, wala tayong problema dyan. And from there, once we allocate the cost of the overhead properly, using activity-based costing, malalaman natin yung cost of the product. Therefore, malalaman natin how much yung price that we will set for that particular product. Okay? So, to illustrate this, I prepared questions. Let's start with theory questions. Okay. So, I think effective yung mag-start muna with theory questions. Okay? So, let's see. Alright. Number one, blank method first traces cost to activities and then to products. That's our topic for today. We call it activity-based costing. So first, activities muna, and then we allocate the cost to the products. Alright? Let's go to number, so that's letter D. Let's go to number 2. A blank method first traces cost to a department and then to products. Parang total overhead cost sa department na yun, directly ina-allocate dun sa products. We call this the traditional costing system. Letter C. Okay? And we know ABC is more accurate than the traditional costing system. Okay, got it? Let's go to number 3 of the following, which is the best reason for using activity-based costing. So, best reason for using ABC. Letter A, to keep better track of overhead costs. Pwede. Okay. To more accurately assign overhead costs to cost pools so that these costs are better controlled. Okay, pwede rin. To better assign overhead costs to products. And letter D, to assign indirect service overhead costs to direct overhead cost pools. Okay, actually, all of the choices are, let's say, pwedeng correct sila. But the best reason is letter C, to better assign overhead costs to products. Ultimately, the goal of ABC is to accurately allocate overhead costs to the products. Alright? That's letter C. Let's go to number 4. ABC should be used in which of the following situations? Single product firms with multiple steps or processes. Multiple product firms with only a single process. Multiple product firms with multiple processing steps. In all manufacturing firms. Okay, for ABC, again, we use activities. Therefore, ang ginagamit natin for ABC, we usually use this to multiple products. Okay? Multiple products with multiple processing steps, with multiple activities. Answer is letter C. And then last one, if activity-based costing is implemented in an organization without any other changes being implemented, total overhead cost will, okay, so if we implement ABC, total overhead cost will, okay, let's read the choices. A, be reduced because of the elimination of non-value-added activities. Letter B, be reduced because organizational cost will not be assigned to products or services. Letter C, be increased because of the need for additional people to gather information on cost drivers and cost pools. And letter D, remain constant and simply be spread over products differently. Okay, maganda yung question na to. So, if we implement ABC, what will happen to the total overhead cost? Letter A and B, reduced daw. Letter C, increased, while letter D, remain constant. Okay, answer here is letter D, remain constant. Take note that yung traditional versus ABC, the difference lang is the method of allocating the overhead to the products. Okay? As to the total overhead, hindi sila magkakaiba. Okay? Total overhead will remain the same. Only the methods of way to allocate the overhead to the products will change. Okay? That's why answer here is letter D. Total overhead cost will remain constant. Got it? Okay, so yan. 5 theory questions. Let's go to our problems for today. Alright. Okay, ayan. Problem 1. Let's first take a look at the requirements. Requirement A, calculate the total and per unit cost reported for the two products by the existing traditional costing system. Letter B, calculate the total and per unit cost reported for the two products by the ABC system. Okay, so basically, compute natin yung total and per unit cost using traditional and using ABC. Okay, we will compare the two. Got it? Okay, so let's read the problem. In-house company produces two products, AB and XY, and uses a costing system in which all overhead is accumulated in a single cost pool and allocated based on machine hours. What do you call that? Single cost pool lang, ibig sabihin, kino-compute mo lang yung total overhead and then you allocate using machine hours. This is an example of traditional costing system. Okay? In-house's management has decided to implement ABC because the cost study has revealed significant amounts of overhead cost related to setup activity and design activity. Okay? So ngayon, nag-implement sila ng ABC, they identified two activities, setup and design. Okay? So, yun yung difference. For traditional, isa lang, single cost pool. While for ABC, you have two activities, setup and design. The number of setups and the number of design hours will be the activity drivers for the two new cost pools. Okay? So, yun yung activity drivers natin. Number of setups for the setup activity, number of design hours for the design activity. Okay? And machine hours will continue as the base for allocating the remaining overhead. Selected information for in-house. Alright, so let's see. Product AB and product XY, you have the total here. Okay? Units produced, 500 for AB, 15,500 for XY, total is 16,000. Direct material cost per unit, and we have the total, so 200 and 10,000. Tama ba? Per unit is 200. We multiply by total units, that's your total cost. Total direct materials cost, right? Okay, so that's for AB, for XY, and you have the total. Got it? Okay. Machine hours, 3,000, 47,000. Direct labor cost, 50,000, 350,000. Okay. So we have the materials, okay, 100. We have the labor, 500. Again, we have no issue on materials and labor. These are direct costs. So it means we can easily compute them. Okay. No need for allocation basically. Setups, 120, 80. Design hours, 6,000 and 4,000. Tama ba yung setups and design hours? These are our activity drivers or our cost drivers, right? And then, let's see. Overhead, you have the setup, design, others, and total overhead. 250, 350, and 900. Total is 1.5 million. Okay. So, balik tayo dito ah. So, yung minention na single cost pool, ibig sabihin, ang ginagawa niya currently is isa lang, 1.5 million total overhead. So, ina-allocate yung 1.5 using machine hours. Got it? Yun yung ibig sabihin ng single cost pool allocated based on machine hours. Okay? So, letter A is, let's compute the total cost and per unit cost using traditional costing. Letter B is total cost and per unit cost using ABC. Alright, so let's do requirement A. So, requirement A, lagay natin dito, traditional. Okay, for traditional, we have products AB and XY. Let's start muna with product AB. Okay? Syempre, when you say total cost, don't forget nakasama dyan yung materials and labor. So, let's start with direct materials. For product AB, how much is the direct materials? According here, syempre, total yung kunin na natin. 100,000. Okay? For labor cost, 50,000. Right? 100 for materials, labor is 50,000. 100,000. Direct labor is 50,000. Okay, let's go to overhead. Okay, for overhead, again, isa lang daw. Ginagamit sa traditional, it's 1.5 allocated using machine hours. So, ito siya. Ito yung ginagamit dyan, allocation. 3,000, 47,000, total of 50,000. So, paano natin gagawin yan? So, 1.5 million, ganito lang siya. Okay? You get your calculator. So, 1.5 million times 3 over 50. Don't forget, syempre, pag nag-allocate ka, your denominator is the total. Times 3 over 50, you get here 90,000. Alright? OH is 90,000. Let's compute the total. 100,000 plus 50, that's 150, plus 90,000, that's 240,000. That's the total cost allocated to product AB. Okay. Pero required din tayo na computein yung per unit cost. Tama ba? Ang gagawin na natin dyan, we divide this by number of units. According to the problem, units produced for product AB is 500. We divide this by 500. Okay, so tingnan natin. 240,000 divided by 500. 240,000 divided by 500. 480. 480 is our unit cost. Okay, so ibabox ko yung lagyan natin per unit. I'll box the final answers. 240,000 total per unit is 480. That's for product AB.
Class, if you appreciate this free accounting tutorial, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever I have a new video.
Same thing for product XY. Okay, XY. Okay, how much yung materials for XY? 310, labor is 350. Alright? So, lagay na natin 310 for XY, labor is 350,000. Okay, for overhead, let's do the same allocation. Okay, 1.5 million, in this case, gagamitin naman natin is 47 over 50. Okay, 1.5 million, 1.5 times 47 divided by 50, you get 1 for 10,000. Okay, tama ba? Pwede rin ganito. Since total overhead is 1.5, minus ko lang siya sa 90. 1 for 10,000 din yan. Right? Okay, so 1 for 10,000. Let's compute the total. 310,000 plus 350,000 plus 1 for 10,000. Total is 2,070,000. 2,070,000. Okay, that's your total cost allocated to product XY. Compute natin yung per unit. We produced 15,500 units for the period. Divided by 15,500. Let's compute. Divided by 15,500. Okay, 133.54. Okay, 133.54. Alright, so these are our final answers for requirement A. AB, total is 240. XY is 2,070,000. Per unit cost, 480 for AB. For XY is 133.54. This is under the traditional costing system. Let's do requirement B. Requirement B naman is using activity-based costing. Alright? So let's do that for product AB first. AB. Let's start with materials and labor, overhead. Okay, materials, syempre same lang. Copy ko lang siya, right? 100,000, 50,000. For overhead, ito na siya magkakaiba because we will use the activity drivers. Isa-isahin natin siya. Setup, muna, setup, design, and others. Let's start with setup. Setup, okay, setup is 250,000. We will use the number of setups as our allocation base. Okay, 250,000 times 120 divided by 200. Let's compute. 250,000 times 120 divided by 200. You get here 150,000 for the setup cost. 150,000 for the design. Okay, so let's see. For the design, 350,000. Let's use the design hours. 6,000 over 10,000. Okay, so 350,000 times 350 times 6 over 10. Okay, times 6 over 10, 210,000. Alright, so 210,000 for the design. And then don't forget merong others, other. Okay, and according to the problem, okay, sabi dyan, machine hours will continue as the base for allocating the remaining overhead. Yung remaining overhead is the other. Alright, so 900,000. Machine hours daw. So 900,000 times 3 over 50. Okay, let's compute. 900,000 times 3 over 50. 54,000. Alright, so 54,000. Okay, so nga, let's compute the total overhead. Okay, yung total overhead natin here is 150, 210 plus 54. 150 plus 210 plus 54. Total overhead allocated to product product AB is 414,000. 414,000. Let's compute the total. So 414 plus natin yung materials and labor na 150. Okay, 564,000. Total cost of product AB using activity-based costing is 564,000. Divide natin by number of units. 500 units divided by 500. Okay, let's compute. Divided by 500. 1128. Okay, 1128 is our unit cost. Ibabox ko so per unit or unit cost. 564,000 and 1128. Got it? Let's do the same thing for product XY. For product XY, materials muna, copy lang natin, 310 and 350. Alright, 350,000. Okay, so now, let's allocate the overhead, okay, to product XY. Let's start with setup. Alright, setup is 250,000 times 80 over 200, right? 250,000 times 80 divided by 200, you get 100,000. 100,000. Okay. And then design, okay, 350,000 times 4,000 over 10,000. Okay, 350,000 times 4 over 10, you get 140,000. Okay, 140,000. And then last one is others, 900,000 times 47 over 50. Okay, 900,000 times 47 divided by 50, 846,000. 846,000. Let's compute the total OH niya. Total OH, 846 plus 140 plus 100 plus 140 plus 100, 1,086,000. Okay, sulat natin. 1,086,000. Okay, so total overhead. Let's compute the total cost. Add natin yung materials, 310 and 350,000 plus 310 plus 350. You get 1,746,000. 1,746,000 divided by number of units, 15,500 divided by 15,500. Okay, divided by 15,500, 112.65. Okay, so 112.65. Okay, babox ko. Total cost allocated to XY, total unit cost for XY. Okay, so yun yung final answers. So you can see, if we compare the two, traditional and ABC, tingnan natin si product AB. Yung allocated cost sa kanya is 240, while under ABC, 564. Unit cost is 480, this is 1128. As you can see, sobrang different nung cost allocation using traditional ABC, and we know ABC is more accurate. So if your selling price is based on the cost, magiging understated yung selling price mo if you base it on the traditional, right? Let's say 20% yung gusto mong margin, then ang gagawin mo selling price is 480 times 1.2. Pero ang dapat 1128 times 1.2. Okay? So nakita nyo kung gaano significant and relevant yung ABC. Okay? The same thing for product XY. Alright. Uy, lakas nyo sa akin ha. Meron pa tayong problem number 2. Okay, problem number 2. This time, lagay ako ng choices. Siyempre, in the board exam, may choices naman. And lagay tayo ng choices. Okay, online corporation has provided the following data from its activity-based costing. Okay, kanina in-house. Ngayon naman, online. Okay, in-house, online. Pinnacle CPA Review School offers both in-house and online review. According to the activity-based costing system, the product margin for product ABC is, when you say product margin, syempre, you consider the selling price. Tama? Gross margin or gross profit. Yun yung product margin. Alright, let's read. You have activity cost pool, the total cost, the total activity. You have assembly, processing, and inspection. So these are your activities, right? Total cost, and then yung activity drivers, machine hours, orders, inspection hours. Okay, take note, yung cost na yan, total cost na yan, it's for all products, right? Okay, all products. Data concerning one of the company's products, product XY, appear below. Now, ang gusto lang natin malaman is for product XY pala ito. Product XY. And okay, so it's only for product XY. Now, you have the selling price. For product XY, you have the materials, you have the labor, you have annual unit production and sales, 360 units, machine hours, orders, and inspection hours. Okay, so paano gagawin natin dyan? Well, ang first thing that we have to do is, let's compute muna yung activity cost per activity driver. Okay, so isa-isay natin siya. 613,250 divided by 55,000. 613 divided by 55,000, 11.15. Okay, 11.15 11.15. 46170 divided by 15. Okay, 46170 divided by 15. 30.78. Okay, 30.78. And then last one is 146110 divided by 19. Okay, so 146110 divided by 19. 76.9. 76.9. Alright. So next step is multiply natin siya by kung how much yung activity driver na na-consume ni product XY. Multiply this by yung machine hours. This one, 11.15. Multiply this by orders is 30.78. And then inspection hours is 76.9. Okay. Let's compute 1040 times 11.15. You get 11,596. Okay, 11,596. 60 times 30.78. 60 times 30.78. 1846.8. Okay, 1846.8. 30 times 76.9 times 76.9, you get 2307. Okay, 2307. Let's compute the total. Plus natin silang tatlo. 11,596 plus 1846.8. You get 15,739. Uli natin. Mali yata. 11,596 plus 1846.8 plus 2307. Yan. 15,749.8. 15,749.8. Tama ba? Yung 15,749.8 is the total OH allocated to product XY, right? And ang kailangan natin is the product margin for product XY. So, paano gagawin natin dyan? Well, ang gagawin ko dyan, since meron akong selling price per unit and materials cost per unit and direct labor cost per unit, kukunin ko yung difference yan. Okay? 113.7. Okay, ganito gagawin ko dyan. 113.7 less 48.14 yung material cost less 11.62, you get 53.94. Okay? Difference between selling price and materials and labor. Okay? Ang gagawin ko dyan, 53.94. I'll multiply this by total units sold. Okay? 360. Tama lang? Multiply by 360. Okay? Times 360. 19,418.4. Okay? Pero syempre, materials and labor pa lang yan. Tama ba? Deduct pa natin yung OH na 15,749.8 minus 15,749.8. You get here 3,668.6, which is letter A. Letter A. Okay? Class is the end of this free tutorial. In Pinnacle, we offer both in-house and online review. Regardless of your accounting background, we will provide you with the most efficient and effective review by focusing on the best review strategies, key points to remember, shortcuts, common tricks, and mistakes. For reservation and to know more about us, visit our website and Facebook page. All the links are in the description below. Reserve now because we only accept limited number of students in order to preserve the quality of our review. Class is missed. See you next meeting.